Welcome to Essentially Fan Talking with LP. And of course, this is yours truly, LP. That's loud. Gotta love it. Okay. That's enough. Hey, welcome back to the pod, y'all. Happy to be back. Dropping it a day later than I wanted to, but hey, we still working on the whole consistency issue. I'll get there, I promise. Um, got a lot going on, and the dream is about to be over, y'all. That's right. About to be back up in school pretty much on Monday. So, summertime is almost over for your boy. One more weekend to live it up. And you got professional development all week. Get to meet the kids. For me, it's pretty breezy because I'm pretty much have all the kids I had last year, which is absolutely awesome. They'll probably be all taller than me by this point, which always happens. But what can you do? I wish we could skip professional development, and I guess it's one of those things where the older you get, the longer you teach or the longer you do, your craft, your career, whatever it may be, you feel like you start getting the same thing told to you over and over and over again. I just wish we could kind of have breakout sessions where we could talk to the newbies, the new teachers, and let them know, like, I know what they saying here in PD. I know what you learned in school. It'll be relevant, trust me, but you're gonna learn what to do by screwing up this year and next year. And don't feel bad. Don't be afraid to come talk to me. Come talk to some people that's just been in the trenches for a while to let you know some tips. So at the end of this hour, I'll give any of my newbie teachers or teachers that's been teaching 3, 4, 5 years and want to know some some inside secrets. I got 3 beginning of the year tips for you. I got 3. Now, this will help you through like the first couple of weeks of the school year. Then you'll need more tips and I got you. But these 3 tips will help you get through the first 2, 3 weeks of school. And I'm going to drop those on you at the end of this, Got a lot to talk about. Got some YouTube stuff I saw. It's just been a lot going on. So let me go ahead and kick it off. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Hearing about him passing is one of those things where TV was big in my house. Now we talking Gen X. We're that weird generation that's in between like the baby boomers and the millennials or whatever, to where we can remember distinctly having a time period where nothing was on television. I mean, literally, if you woke up at 1:30 in the morning and you didn't have cable, there would be like static on your television. Like, shh. I distinctly remember this. I remember having like 6 or 7 channels to choose from on my television set because we weren't the house that had cable, let me tell you. So we had 6, 7 channels plus the Nintendo, plus our VHS tapes. That's what it was. So it wasn't really one of those houses where it is now, like, you can watch anything you want anytime you want. No, it wasn't like that. So Thursday night at 8 o'clock was big in the LP household because you got to watch the Cosby Show, and then you got to watch A Different World, stuff like that. And you didn't really see a lot of black faces on television back then. It wasn't really like that. Truth be told, it's not really like that right now, but hey, we'll say that for a later date. And as a black kid, you felt like you grew up with these characters on your screen. You could relate to somebody like Malcolm Jamal Warner playing Theo Huxley. You could relate to the stuff he was going through. And it was refreshing because my mother, my aunt, my uncles, they grew up with good times. They grew up with a lot of those shows where they were just the characters were just so damn bad. The episode with in Good Times where the neighbor was eating dog food, that really happened, like on the show, and I couldn't relate to that. Like we didn't have everything. It wasn't like we were just living great. It wasn't like the Jeffersons, nothing like that. But we didn't struggle like that. And nobody on our street struggled like that. We were a low income neighborhood, low income family, but it never got that bad. So seeing people like the Huxtables and seeing Theo go through the stuff he went through at school and stuff like that, I could relate to that a lot more because he was just a regular kid. And seeing that he passed, it was one of those things where, you know, I'm not gonna act like I knew Malcolm Jamal Warner, and it hit me super duper hard because, I because we've been going through that for the past couple of years. But we have lost somebody that's really near and dear to us, and it hurts, and it still does hurt. And we're praying for you know people that we know that are going through this, that lost somebody that they really love. And yeah, it feel like it's just coming in waves. I'm hearing from like good friends of mine, good podcasters I know, things of that nature. It's like it's kind of coming in waves, and every time I hear it, it kind of like hits me in the gut a little hard, just kind of reliving the stuff that we've been going through for the past couple of years. And it's just one of those things to where you feel like, not that you knew Malcolm Jamal Warner, but you just felt like you grew up with him because he was on your screen. And he's been on my screen for the last 25, 30 years. We watch every single rerun of The Cosby Show. Even though Cosby did that dumb stuff, it's really hard to not watch that show because there's so many people that had absolutely nothing to do with that. And they have all these iconic moments on the show. Malcolm Jamal, I remember all of his stuff too. Theo with the shirt that Denise tried to make. When Theo threw the house party and they broke everything in the house. So him and his friends tried to, fix up the house and it was still broken. It was wild. Me and my brother, we actually poured water all over the floor, hit it with some soap, and we skied all over the kitchen floor. Sound familiar? It's weird that we did that before we even saw that episode, but yeah, it was kind of wild. So it's one of those things where it feels like you're losing another little piece of that childhood. And it really does suck. Rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. I know his family's going through it. So, I mean, we're all going to pray for him. And, and it's not one of those things where you'll ever be okay. Like, it's never going to be a part where you're like over it. I feel like it's one of those things where other great things happen so it doesn't hurt your heart so much. Like other things kind of like take over your heart to where it doesn't hurt as much, but it's always going to hurt. So, rest in peace. Hope his family is doing their best to maintain. So, on a happier note, the basketball tournament. I love this time of year, even though there's no basketball, like there's no pro hoop, there's no college hoop. I like this part of the year because the not the college the basketball tournament, they're so innovative. And I really wish that college and pro hoop would not take everything, but take some pieces of what makes TBT great and run with it. And, quiet as it's kept, these leagues have been stealing from TBT. You know that part in the NCAA tournament when they're in the locker room, the team is after they win, and then they take their team name and they stick it on the next part of the bracket to show they moved on. TBT been doing that for years. They took that from TBT. When the NBA All Star game started doing that Elam ending thing, where in the fourth quarter they added, you know, the team had to score 24 points to win the game to get like a target score. TBT been doing that, and actually, that's the thing that really makes the TBT great. That Elam ending makes the whole thing really stand out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's what happens. You play the entire first quarter. You play the entire second quarter. You play the entire third quarter. You play the fourth quarter. And when there's 4 minutes left, the team that's ahead, they take their score and they add 8 points. So if my team is beating team B 80 to 62, the game goes to 88. And I'm sure you're thinking, that's not really fair. It's super fair, because what happens is the team that's down by 18 points, they're not going to run out of time. They have to lock down and play defense. I watched the game last weekend where a team was up by 29 points. 29 points. The target score comes up. I think the target score was like 98. So they had to score 98 points. This team already had 90 points. The other team, they're down 21 at this point. They came all the way back, and they almost won the game. The final score was like 98 to 97. It was wild. And I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, how could this happen? And it took me all the way back to my playground days. If you're a hooper, you know what it is. You play the 16, ones and twos. Sometimes you got to win by two, sometimes you don't. But the thing is, you're not worried about time. You could be down 14-3, and you start locking down, and that other team, they have to score 2 more points. Those last points are hard to score. They really are. Nobody wants to take the last shot. Everybody's kind of deferring to other people, and they're like, "Oh, we're up 11. What? It doesn't really matter. We're good." And then you keep scoring, and then you play defense, and then you score again. All of a sudden, it's a game. It was so cool to see that. Like, I really like that about TBT, because you're not worried about the clock. You're not going to run out of time. You just have to play defense. You're not worried about timeouts. So let me go ahead and call a timeout, and then we can foul, hope they miss 2 free throws, then we score again, then we foul again. I hate that. The last 2 minutes of a regular game sucks eggs. Wifey watches those games with me sometimes, and she's like, "Oh, here we go. They're going to foul." And it almost never works. She's like, it never works. They foul. The other team makes the free throw, so they have to hit a 3-pointer. They probably miss, so they foul again. They make 2 free throws. It's like, what's the point? What are we doing here? That's what makes this TBT thing so cool. And you would think, like, well, the other team's down by so much. What happens if they foul? Well, if you foul somebody in that the Elam ending part, you foul them. The other team gets 1 free throw, and then they get the ball back. So you're encouraged not to foul. You have to play good defense. The game goes by so much faster. Now, I'm not sitting here saying the NBA should just go ahead and do this in every single game. But you know that in-season tournament they do? Perfect time for the Elam ending. You know these boring regular season games that nobody ever watches? Hint, hint, me. Because nobody really cares what's going to happen, because there's 82 games in the season. Who's about to watch all 82 games? Put the Elam engine on there. I bet some people watch that. Well, what about all the records and stuff like that? Basketball evolves, y'all. It really does. We weren't really worried about records in college back in the day when you could only play 3 years, right? Because freshman year, you weren't allowed to play. So you had people like like Pistol Pete Maravich, who had all these scoring records. He did that in 3 years. Somebody else broke his record, but they played 4 years. Still counts, right? That 3 point line that we know and love now, that everybody just pulls from, that wasn't in there back in the day. I think the first year was like 82, 83, or something like that. Basketball evolves. So, evolve the game a little bit. Those last 4 minutes is really just dead air. We really need to do something to fix that. And I think the Elam Ender could do that. Now, let's not just throw it in out willy nilly. I say start small. Use the in season tournament first as a test. Use it there. And then if it works out well, use it for regular season games. That's what I say. I just think it's something really, really cool. I love the basketball tournament. They're so innovative. They love to do fresh and new things. And people are going to steal what they like. That's what they're going to do. So if the NBA starts seeing this and going like, this might work. I know they tried it for the All-Star game, but it doesn't really work for the All-Star game because the talent is like way too much. So it's really hard to set that target score. They made it at 24 for Kobe. Rest in peace to Kobe. I thought that was a cool touch, but 24 points is way too easy in an All-Star game. Everybody's an All-Star. Everybody does something great. You had to make that too high, and it might make it a little boring. So something to think about. I know the NBA's listening to my podcast. I know Adam Silver has it on his phone. Yeah, right. So if you're listening, you should do that. I was watching an FCC game. That's FC Cincinnati. Now, I wasn't really a big, huge soccer fan like that. Then we got a team, and they were in the minor league, the FC Championship, I think they call it now. And they were doing really well in that. They did so well that the push to make them a pro team happened, and it worked out. So now I watch FC games. I'm watching the game, and they're playing Inter Miami. Messi didn't get to play because some dumb stuff about he wasn't in the All-Star game and he was supposed to play. Something just that made absolutely no sense, to be honest. So I'm watching the match, and I see a frame of a fan who snuck onto the field and was taking selfies with the players. And now I got to do my spiel. I say this all the time, and I hate talking about this because I feel like something really bad is going to happen to a player. Hey, fan out there, your ticket gives you the following things. You get a seat wherever they put you based on the ticket that you bought. You get that. You get all you can eat concessions as long as you pay. You get to scream your brains out, and you get to, yell for your team. And you get to boo the other team. All well and good. You don't get to swear at the players. You don't get to fight the other fans that you don't like. You don't get to curse at the other fans that you don't like. You don't get to curse and swear and say all types of dumb things with kids within earshot. And you don't get to throw things at players or run down onto the field and take pictures with players during the game. You don't get to do that. I don't understand why all of these fans, some of these fans, feel like they can do all of these weird things because they bought a ticket. You can't do that. And I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall when I talk about this because everybody kind of poo-poos it away like, nothing's going to happen. Nothing happened. The security did their job. Well, did they? Because if they did, why am I talking about a fan running onto the pitch and taking a selfie with a player? It's scary because these players aren't thinking about fans rushing the field and taking pictures with them and stuff like that. They're focused on the game. Like, imagine you doing your job and then somebody rushes in, swings your chair around and goes like, hey, what's up? Let me take a picture with you. You're looking like, I did not expect that. I'm not ready for that. You just snuck up behind me and I wasn't even looking. I feel like something really bad is going to happen to a player one day. And it's scary. I do not want to be right about this. So, You got security there, and most of the time they do their job well. Almost all of the time. Here's the thing though. Nobody can do their job well 100% of the time. So it's on the fans to be responsible and stop drinking so much in the stands and feeling like you can do whatever you want to do because you bought a ticket. Everybody else bought a ticket too. If everybody did what they wanted to do, it would be utter chaos in the stands. So, heed my warnings, fans. Be responsible. Fan responsibly. Is that a thing? They should start making that a thing. We should start having commercials, where it says drink responsibly and all that. We should start having commercials where you see like a fan acting all rowdy and then another fan kind of taps them on the shoulder and go like, hey, you got to fan responsibly, man. We don't do that. We don't use racial slurs and stuff like that to the other team. We're not about to cuss at somebody wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey because they're here in Cincinnati. We're not about to do that. All right? They can like their team. We can do some friendly banter. Hey, your team sucks. Ha ha ha. Yeah, we don't have a Super Bowl, but at least you don't have to wear that black and yellow. At least you don't look like bumblebees. Ha ha ha. And then the game is over and everybody walks out. You shake hands because you're not playing the game anyway. Just be a fan. You don't play. Let me breathe. Let me channel my inner chi real quick. It's just frustrating because some of these fans just care way too much, and then they get upset with the players because they don't look like they care enough. But they're like, "Look, dude, it's a job." This guy I'm going against, I played with him in college. He was on my college team. He was on my high school team. Like, I know his wife. I know his kids. This is a game. Like, we get paid. We want to beat each other. But after the game, I'm taking him out to dinner on the banks. Like, it's not as deep as you making it, fans. Okay. When I say I don't know, I really do know. We just need to fan responsibly because we don't want players to get hurt by crazy fans. If you haven't seen The Last Boy Scout, check out The Last Boy Scout. Like, when I think about fans doing crazy things, I remember, like, on The Last Boy Scout, a real life player, like, if you haven't seen it, you just got to see it. It's Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis at their, how you put it, most mediocre. Imagine Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis in a buddy cop movie together. That's what The Last Boy Scout is. Amazing. The concept is amazing. And you get to see a young Halle Berry, too, for like a few minutes before. I won't ruin it for you, okay? Check it out. Now, don't hit me up on the email. Don't hit me up on X or anything like that and go like, hey, that was a terrible movie. It's not a good movie, okay? But there's some wonderful lines in there, okay? And it just reminds me of the stuff that can happen if we don't really rein this whole responsible fan thing in. Like, you'll have players doing this dumb stuff. So, check it out. I don't know if I can call that a recommendation because it's not a good movie. Speaking of television, did you see Love Island? If you're worried that LP is about to go down the rabbit hole of like who should have got picked or who should have won, don't worry about it. I'm not going to do that. Never seen a single episode. I don't know any of the cast members. Wifey didn't watch any of it. I saw the winners doing an interview. I couldn't relate because I don't even know it. I didn't watch a single frame. But I tell you this though. The fact that there were so many people that made it a point to watch Love Island when it dropped reminded me of how dope television used to be. Like, there were some things that were appointment television. You had to watch it live because you didn't really, there was no streaming back in the day. There was none of that. And things didn't drop all at once. I like to watch a lot of stuff, but I really do hate the fact that Netflix and Hulu and all these things drop the entire series at once. Like, It's cool because I like the convenience of it, but I really miss the times where you and the crew had to bunch around the television every Sunday at 8, or every Thursday at 8, or every Tuesday at 9. I feel like The Wire and The Sopranos are like the last couple of shows that I can remember that I had to be in front of the television when it came on. True, I could have recorded it or whatever. We had the DVR back then, but The Wire is on. Make sure the kids are asleep because we don't want them to see somebody get shot or something like that. It was appointment television, and you don't really have that anymore. I feel like that's what made Love Island so dope to a lot of people because you could set your watch to it. You're like, okay, you're gonna be at my house whenever it came on because we gotta see what happens next. You just don't have that anymore. This is why sports cost so much money for these networks to buy because it's one of the last true things that are appointment television because it's live. And there aren't too many live events anymore. Most things are streamed. You can go ahead and just get the entire season. You can binge the whole thing. With sports, it's basically reality television. That's what it is. The NC, well, the college football playoff, that entire run up to the CFP, that's basically reality television. What is Ohio State going to do next? Are they going to win? Are they going to lose? Are we finally going to beat that team up north? We don't know what's going to happen because nobody's seen it. It's live. That's what made Love Island so dope to a lot of people. It was the last realm of appointment TV. I wish it would come back, but in order for it to come back, a lot of these streamers are going to have to do stuff a little bit differently, and they're making too much money to do that. Mark my words. In the next 5 years, let's say 7, in the next 7 years, you will have to stream the Super Bowl. I hate to say it, y'all, but it's going to happen. The Super Bowl is going to be on Peacock exclusively. The Super Bowl is going to be on, I don't know, Amazon Prime exclusively. And everybody's going to complain and piss and moan and say, I'm not going to watch it. Seriously. You're not going to get the bread out to watch the Super Bowl? They know you are. They're just setting us up real slow and quick. Like, notice how more games are on Netflix now? Notice how the Thursday matchup is solely on Amazon Prime? Notice how some of these Christmas, I just said that. Like, Netflix has the Christmas games. Yeah, it's coming down the pike. Be ready for it. You heard it here first. Now, I don't really want it to happen, but I'm staying ready so I don't have to get ready. We switched over to YouTube TV already. You know, the wifey has the chapter she dropped, so you already got Amazon Prime. Peacock is the worst thing on the planet. It's easily the worst streamer ever. But getting it for free, so shh. We keep that between you and me and the LP podcast squad. So I would say get ready for it. Talk to your wireless provider because you can get a lot of deals done through them. I mean, I think for us, for Verizon, we're getting like the Disney bundle for free. So Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus for free. So let's not say free. Let's say it's included in our bill. Nothing's free. Hey, before I head out, what I've been watching on YouTube, I won't say it's weird. It's one of those things where it popped up on my feed probably 2.5 years ago, and I've been watching him ever since. His name is T Money So Funny. On YouTube, it's at T Money So Funny. Well, not at, it's T Money So Funny. He's from Memphis. We struck a chord with the wife because, you know, she's really close to Memphis. She's from, I think it's about an hour and a half out from Memphis. Yeah, you know, the West Tennessee life. So what he does is he takes movies and he dubs over the content and he talks in the voices as if he's from Memphis. So he uses like Memphis slang, the Memphis drawl, and he's roasting completely. And usually it's about something that has nothing to do with the actual movie, but he's able to dub the lines in so it looks like they're actually talking about what he's talking about. It must take this guy hours to do this stuff to make it line up right. I mean, he has like if they're dropping a cup or something like that, he has that sound in there. He actually does a really good job. And it'll be something like if Goodfellas was in Memphis, if Love Don't Cost a Thing was in Memphis. Like that's the whole hook. If Lean on Me was in Memphis. Like what else has he done? He's done like 7 parts of Scarface, like 3 parts of Goodfellas. If Full Metal Jacket was in Memphis, if Life was in Memphis, and it's absolutely hilarious. Uh, NSFW, not suitable for work. I definitely would not recommend that you hop on your work computer and pump the sound up on this. Um, if you're at work watching this, you want to get some headphones and like make sure you're either by yourself or with somebody who is cool enough to watch this stuff. I would recommend that. I've shown a couple to the wife and like she's like, "Are you serious?" And then she's cracking up. Um, if I were you, I would start with If Lean on Me was in Memphis. I would start there. Um, I haven't really seen any bad ones from him. They're all like pretty funny, but some are just absolutely hilarious. Like absolutely hilarious. So I definitely recommend it. Give him a go. Give him a go. See how it sounds to you. Let me know what you think. I'll see if I can put some links in the post when I drop this. So check it out. Let me know what you think. And it looks like we're about done here. Nope, we are not done. Thought I forgot. For my teachers out there, my newbies, I've done this before. Um, I'm throwing in like a couple of new ones, so I'm gonna try to make a couple of new points for my teachers to get you through the first couple of weeks. All right. So you're gonna walk in to the classroom. You're probably not going to have it all decorated the way you want to. This is tip number 1. This will probably get you through the first quarter. If your room is not completely ready the way you want it, it's okay. Don't try to fill every single space with posters and things like that. All right. Don't worry if it's not completely, absolutely perfect, because in those first couple of weeks, you're going to see some stuff that you want to put on your wall because of what's happening in class. Keep empty space on your walls. That's tip 1. Don't worry about if everything's not perfect on the first day. It's not supposed to be perfect on the first day. There's going to be hitches and bumps and things like that. You just want to kind of stay flexible. So keep some wall space. What happened to me was one year, this was a few years back, the kids and I are talking, it's the first day of school, and I'm like, we need to lay the ground rules for how the class is going to work. And I'm asking them what they think the rules should be, and they're giving me some answers. So I have a kid just go ahead and start writing this stuff down. That ended up being what I put on the wall. They created the rules. I'm like, these are the rules that we're going to follow because you guys put them up. So if anybody complains, I'm going to say, it's your rule. We're just following your rule. So that was kind of an instance where I was happy I had extra space up because I was kind of freaking out. Like, dang, is my room empty? You're good. Don't worry about being perfect, especially on the first day. You're going to have things that don't work. You're going to have some of your technology not work quite right. It's okay. As long as the kids understand that you're there to teach and you want to make them successful, you're good. Which leads me to part number 2. You're gonna have teachers tell you, "Hey, be as strict as possible. You want to be an absolute jerk because you can lighten up during the school year. That's cool, but be an absolute jerk first. It's not necessary. I would say don't go in being a jerk. Okay, these kids are smart. If that's not your personality, don't do that. But what I will say is this: find 3 or 4 deal breakers. 3 or 4 things that you cannot live with in your classroom. 3 or 4 things where you're like, hey, if I see this, we're gonna have a problem. Take those 3 or 4 things, write them down, present those to the class. That's gonna be the core of your whole classroom management thing. So, over my course of teaching, I've learned I have some deal breakers. Don't curse around me. And a lot of the kids will be like, hey, my mama cuss all the time, my auntie cuss all the time. It's gonna be hard for me. Oh yeah, my fault. It's gonna be hard for me not to cuss. And I'll tell them, look, take how much your mother curses and take how much all the people around you curse. Multiply it by 6. That's how much my mother curses. My mother to this day can't say a sentence without cursing in it. She can't. She can't do it. I'm sure she's tried. She can't. I'm like, if I can come in here and not curse, after all the stuff I've heard throughout my years of living, you can do it too. I'm like, I understand your mother may let you curse at home. That's cool. We're not at home, we're at school. We're not cursing in here. And for some reason, these middle schoolers, they feel empowered to just say crazy stuff. I'm like, not in here. And crazy enough, the kids follow it. And it's not because I'm a jerk. It's not because, hey, he's going to really. No, that's the expectation. Kids live up to the expectations. They live up to any expectation you set. If you set the bar high, they're going to try to reach that. If you set the bar low, they're going to try to reach that. Rarely do they try to overperform the expectation. So it's best to set it as high as you can. So that's why I'm like, don't curse in front of me. If you're drinking something, make sure it has a top. Not about to be cleaning. If you have to get up and do something, raise your hand first. I like to see everything. Like, I'm nosy, so my eyes dart everywhere. And if you just start getting up because you feel like it, I'm looking like, where are you going? What are you thinking? I'm not asking you to beg me to stand up, but just go like, hey, I need to go. Yeah, go ahead. Those are like my deal breakers. I put them out there and I let the class know off top. This is what it is. Oh, and my last, because I got 4. And the last one, don't yell in here. I don't yell in here. You won't hear me yell. Don't yell in my classroom. Those are the deal breakers. I'm like, if you can follow those, we're good. Get you some stuff that you just can't live with. Let it be known. That's what it is. And my last thing, this usually makes the teachers laugh when I say this. Go home when the bell rings. Like, go home after school. Go home. A lot of the first, second, third year teachers want to get into every different thing. They want to be the ones that's doing like the before school stuff and the after school stuff. And they want to teach. They want to run 4 different clubs and want to hop on like different committees and all that. Looky here. That's on top of all the things you have to do to get your room and your classroom ready for the next day. Take some days of the week and just go home. The teachers laugh at me because they're like, dang, you out of here when the bell ring. Like, as soon as it's time to go, you out of here. You don't even carry stuff home. I'm like, looky here. I'm usually the first one here. I'm getting stuff done so I can leave on time. I got kids. Like, I got a wife. I got stuff to do at home. I don't want to make this everything. And I feel like it's a badge of honor for a lot of teachers to be like, yeah, I was here until 6, 7 o'clock grading paper, stuff like that. If you really need to, you can do that at home. Like, get home. There's going to be so many times where you have to stay at school. Open houses, parent teacher conferences. Maybe there's a game that you have to go to because the kids are like, hey, I want you to see my game, stuff like that. There's going to be times when you have to be at school anyway. So if you don't have to be at school and there's things you know you can do at home, just do it at home. I would say those are my three things to get you through probably the year. Stay flexible. Don't put too much stuff on you while I'm beginning of the year. Get deal breakers. Go home. And I feel like people respect you when they understand, hey, my teacher really cares and they want to do a great job, but they want to get home too. So more than anything, this isn't like a last tip or something like that, but be yourself. People are always like, you're able to stay so calm and you don't yell and stuff like that. It took a long time and it took a lot of messing up to get where I am to where I'm like really comfortable in front of a class. I don't really freak out. There's no fights in the classroom. It's a really good learning environment. Year 2 me, it wasn't like that. Year 1 me, I almost quit. Like I almost, it was over with. I was about to say, forget teaching. I'm done with this. I don't like these kids. It took a while. It's going to take you a while. When you're doing something for a career, you build up the greatness. Not saying I'm absolutely top tier teacher, but I feel like I'm getting there. I'm close. And you'll get there too. Be patient with yourself. Be okay to fail because you're not going to do well your first or second year. You're just not. But the stuff that you screw up is going to make you a good teacher by year 4 or year 5. So just be okay with learning. And it's about time to roll. We got crispy, crunchy chicken on deck. Why did nobody tell me how good crispy, crunchy chicken is? I didn't know. I had a couple podcast friends like, oh, yeah, you was super asleep. I'm like, yes, indeed. I had no clue. I'm working my way into the light, one crunch at a time. Let me tell you, I can smell the crispy, crunchy from here. So it's about time to roll. Cue that music. Hey, if you want to vibe, if you need to chit chat, if you have questions, if you want to let me know how good or bad the pod was, you can hit me up at Cincy_fan talk@yahoo.com. You can hit me up on the socials. I'm on X. I'm on Blue Sky. That's a Cincy fan talking without the G. Some of y'all know what it is already. If you don't, hey, now you know. And I will catch y'all sometime next week. Life is good.